All right, just after 8 o'clock on our Thursday evening. Good evening, everyone. I'm 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins. Tropics are really starting to get interesting, that's for sure. We have Humberto out there that is strengthening. 60-mile-per-hour winds now forecast to go to 120, Cat 3, and forecast to go a little bit further to the west. And boy, oh boy, Invest 94L really got interesting today as the forecast models are getting closer and closer towards the southeast coast. So let's get started right there. You can see we have basically the western Atlantic is where all the action is right now. There's not much even coming off of Africa at this point. We'll get into Humberto here in just a second. The Invest 94 one has about an 80 to 90% chance of development. The 80% is in the next 2 days. Okay, the 90% is just beyond that. So really, it's by the time we get towards Saturday, we should have at least Tropical Storm Imelda. Okay, well, at least a depression. If it's Tropical Storm, it will be Imelda. You can see the two systems sitting out there right now. The top numbers are for Humberto, which is 60-mile-per-hour winds. Pressure's down to 1,000, and it's moving to the northwest at 6 miles per hour. It's crawling. All right, it's going very, very slow. So is this one, actually. That's 94L. But eventually these things will pick up a little bit of speed. Here's the latest track from the Hurricane Center as of 5 o'clock this afternoon for Humberto. And you can see really it's actually doing pretty good. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit and show you some of these numbers. 80-mile-per-hour winds by tomorrow afternoon. That's a hurricane. I mean, it's at 60 now, so that's not unheard of, right? But then Cat 2 by Saturday afternoon. Saturday night into Sunday, it's almost Cat 3. Oh, it is Cat 3. 111 is Cat 3, so they're going 115. Sunday afternoon, you've got Cat 2, Cat 3, excuse me, at 120, and we'll keep that through Monday, and then it starts to weaken a little bit as you move into Tuesday. By the way, this is Bermuda right here. So what started out as models saying something like this, maybe something like that, is now way out here. So that has really come off to the west there, come off to the left as far as the track goes. Those are the forecast plots right there. You can see that. But again, they all do point at this turn. It's just where is it going to happen? It does have it going a little bit further to the west here, but fairly good agreement with this one. This one is not the one that we're really concerned about, but this one will be a strong storm. And so we're talking lots of surf for the East Coast. I mean, the Outer Banks, Carolina is going to be loving it for surf. But it's an erosion issue. It's a rip current issue. You do not love that, right? And that really will start. You know what? Let me go back here. I texted my buddy tonight. What did I say? Swell fades. There's some swell there now. So on the Carolina coast, that swell starts to come away on Friday afternoon, but Monday it's back. And then the really big stuff gets there Tuesday. But by Tuesday, we've got potentially Imelda making landfall somewhere near South Carolina. So we'll talk about that. But here we go. Let's talk Imelda now. That's what's called Invest 94L at this time, okay? The next name on the list is Imelda. So this distance is about 850 miles to the center, right there, almost 900 miles apart. And you've probably heard about that Fujiwara effect where the two wrap around each other. To do that, they usually need to be within 900 miles. These are kind of far apart at this point. They're right there on the cusp. But they are going to be closer together off the southeast coast. The Canadian still says that it will happen, but most models aren't saying that's going to happen at this point. Let's get in a little bit closer here because this is a really interesting one. The center is actually now completely away from look at all the convection down here. The center, they're saying, is up here in the Turks and Caicos. All right, I'll go ahead and turn the infrared back on so you can see where that is. But if you notice, just in the last couple of hours, the convection that was down here is fading, and here's the center, okay? We're starting to put a little bit more convection, at least closer to the center, not necessarily around it, but looking at this evening, I think this is starting to get a little bit better organized, all right? And that's what the models are saying, all right? So here we go with the forecast tracks for Invest 94L, and this is what's really changed today. So you can see we've got a couple of options, right? We have what coming through the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, and then the Bahamas Saturday and the Sunday. This is Sunday time frame. It should be intensifying by that time. It will likely be at least Tropical Storm Imelda. Remember, this area right in here, you've got the warm Gulf Stream waters. They go up something like this, okay? That's very warm water for this thing to work with. I do expect it to get to at least a pretty strong tropical storm, if not a hurricane. Some models are suggesting a hurricane just before landfall. All right, now, some are trying to take this out. As Humberto comes by in here, it's trying to say maybe it'll pull it out with it. Most are not saying that, but there's some diversion. I think this still will change. So if you're watching from the Carolinas, it's not set that we have this making landfall at Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, Charlotte, or maybe even down to Charleston, even Savannah, right? And if you're watching from Jacksonville, not out of the woods, I don't see a much pointing at you at this point. But the point here is anywhere from Outer Banks to Jacksonville really needs to keep an eye on this thing, okay? Obviously right in the middle is where we're thinking it may end up going. Now let's show you the European model. This is just the main run. This is Sunday at 8 p.m. So if this happens, you've got Humberto, which is way to the south, which doesn't look right to me. And it doesn't look as strong, but then you also have Imelda, okay? Now let's go out to Monday at 10 p.m. and you've got Imelda somewhere here near Myrtle Beach. There's Humberto following behind. Let's go out to Tuesday evening at 9 p.m. Humberto's really blowing up. Remember that? That's the forecast. That looks legit there. And then here you go. It's kind of meandering over the South Carolina coast. By Wednesday evening, it's passing Bermuda. Bermuda will get more weather than this from anything they've had so far this year. All right, it's just going to be closer. Everything's gone around them. And then that's just leftover stuff. I will say there's going to be a ton of shear. So once this makes landfall, if it makes landfall on the southeast coast, it would be Monday-ish, right? I'd just say Monday-ish because it could be in the morning, could be in the night, could change a little bit. But there's quite a bit of wind shear in this area, and it will just increase as we go through that time period. So it will fall apart pretty quickly. Now, that's the European model. Let's look at the GFS. This is Saturday, 10 p.m. There we go. Look, this looks similar, right? Here's Humberto. There's what would be Imelda. Let's go to Monday at 9 p.m. Very similar look to what the European had. There we are on Tuesday, 9 p.m. It's a little bit weaker here, but it takes it on out. Very similar solutions, which is not terrible. I do at least like to see the models agree just a little bit more. Let's take a look at the wind shear forecast, and I'll tell you what, this is what is saving us. Look at this dip that you see right here. You see that dip and then coming right back up? That is a big trough. There's an upper level low sitting here. That is helping to take whatever's here. Instead of coming right at us, it'll take whatever's here and pick it up. That was the original thought, that it picks it up and takes it out. But it may miss it. It may pick it up and then let it turn back in. Okay, so let's go and let's look at the shear forecast for Monday. And so I know this is tough to see, but right in here, there's the center, okay, of what would be Imelda. Here we go. We've got Cat 3 Humberto out there Monday. All right, now there's a ton of shear across the southeast, but not much across the center, or maybe just getting to the center. And then there's potential landfall Monday night into Tuesday. And look where all the shear is. It's out to the southwest side. It's not over the middle, but there will be some. And then after that, then there is a ton of shear that starts coming in over top of it. It would be somewhere in here, and it gets sheared apart. So it will weaken pretty quickly here. Man, that's a lot of lines right there. Whew. But you get the idea. To me, this is the key, especially for Tampa Bay, right? And for that matter, most of Florida is this dip that you see right here in that upper level low. That's what we needed. Okay, guys, that's where we stand right now. Let me show you one more graphic before I let you go. I want to show you this wind graphic, kind of give you an idea of just where the model's thinking now. And I hesitate a little bit just because this is going to change. But if it does develop in the Bahamas, look where the wind is. It's to the north and the east, at least as it's moving past Florida. Then as it gets towards Georgia and South Carolina, North Carolina, it starts to wrap around on the northwest side just a little bit more, and then it moves onshore. All right. That's it for now. We'll be right back.
I was driving when an 18-wheeler turned in front of me. I locked up my brakes, bam, slid dead into the truck. Bloody and hurt, I was loaded into an ambulance, and that's when I put out my phone and called attorney Dan Newton. Dan jumped right on it. He was in my corner the whole way. He fought the fight from beginning to end and got me $1 million.
Involved in a car accident? Call me now at 813-888-8000.
Dan, your awesome team deserves 6 stars. Thank you for winning my case.
Weather impacts your life every day. I'm 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins. You can find out about any change in the weather with our 10 Tampa Bay Plus app. Just stream for the latest forecast, any weather impact alert, updated tropics forecast, and take a live look at the radar. Anytime you want, and it's free. It's just one more way we're helping you stay informed, prepared, and connected. Stream 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
And it's like a movie script. It's family rivalry, betrayal, and murder.
They cover America's most fascinating true crime stories.
One way or another, that's an execution.
Absolutely.
Every case,
Who would want to hurt him?
every clue,
This is dynamite for an investigator.
every mystery that keeps you guessing until the very end.
Does everyone's jaws drop?
Dateline, 5 times a week.
Watch weekdays at 4 on 10 Tampa Bay.
Windows are created and installed with different levels of quality. You need quality that can withstand the tropical climate. Our installers only install PGT custom windows and doors, so we are the go-to experts. Don't take my word for it. We have been named Best of Tampa Bay 3 years in a row, Reader's Choice in Sarasota 3 years in a row, and nationally recognized as Window and Door Dealer of the Year. Price is what you pay, but value is what you get. Give WeatherTight Windows a call today, and don't forget the cookies.
812, welcome back. So one of the things that we really as meteorologists try to get across, especially when we're talking tropical systems like this, is a little bit of the uncertainty. It's not that we don't know we don't know exactly what it's going to do. We have really good ideas and models are getting better, but we want you at home to understand that just because you watched it right now, tonight, and it said that Monday night was going to be landfall in Myrtle Beach, that doesn't mean that that's going to be the case tomorrow morning when the model runs come in, right? And the system hasn't developed. And then forget about the model looking at the future. We'll even look at the satellite radar and say, look, the weather's not there. Or now it's moved. The center reformed over here. And that changes the game. So that's why I say it's important to understand that we just don't know 100%. So you want to be paying attention to these forecasts frequently. That's kind of how it always should be. Let me show you a model comparison here. This is the difference between the European and the GFS. So the European's the red lines. The GFS is the yellow line. And for 91, that's not bad. Or 94, excuse me, what would be a Meldo, that's really not that bad. You can see pretty good agreement here. And Humberto's not terrible, but it's off a little bit, but it's not off by that much, okay? But for a weak system, this is pretty good agreement because it doesn't have a well-defined low pressure center. This one does, right? It's a little odd to see it doing that, but I think that's timing differences of one thinking it's moving faster than the other. Now, this is Sunday. That is really good agreement between these two models. Okay, Humberto's off a little bit. That's okay. We can handle that. The GFS, look how much further south. That's something to watch. The further south, the further west it will end up too. All right, so that's definitely something to keep an eye on. And then there we go. I mean, this gives you an idea Monday. That's not only really good agreement between the models, but it's also agreement with a large system, a strong storm, right? That's a hurricane, I would say, especially with some warm water underneath of it. Look at the difference here. That is becoming a thing here. We're going to have to keep our eye on that because this would just come in up behind it. So then let's go out to Tuesday, and thank goodness they both want to recurve. The timing's a little different, but okay, that's good. We'll take that either way. Bermuda's the one that really has to watch that. And then here you go. The European takes it into high country of South Carolina. The GFS, I think, is a little bit faster and moves it over and falls apart. All right, and so then there you go. It falls apart. And I'm going to go ahead and let this run out. There we go. All the way through October 5th. Nothing. Oh, that would be amazing if that is the case. I will say, let me get you back out here to the shear that we were talking about earlier. Look at this. There's a lot of lines here. But I want you to see all of that out towards the 4th and 5th of October. What I'm showing you here, what I'm pointing out, is all of this across the Gulf. That is fantastic news for us to see in Florida, because that means even if something's trying to form here and come up, it's probably going to come up and go out, first of all. And then number two, if it can get in here, it's going to get blown apart, right? So that is very good news. Hopefully this trend holds. We've seen a lot of this so far this season here, and in just the last few days, the shear has really kind of died off over the Gulf, but it does look like it wants to come back, and I applaud that. That would be amazing. Okay, let's talk a little bit of local weather here. We've had a pretty nice day out there. Just a few showers out there. Really nice sunset this evening. It was warm, upper 80s to low 90s for today, and if you look outside right now, it's muggy too. The dew point 76 degrees. Remember 66 a couple weeks ago? We had a little taste of fall. That was nice. Makes it feel like 91 degrees at 8:16 in the evening. And dark outside, right? 7:23 was sunset, right around there, 7:23:24. Temps right now, as I mentioned, we're in the mid 80s. I do see some warmer spots by the coast, obviously by the water. 83 Sarasota, 85 Tampa. We've got 80 in Winter Haven and Bartow. 86 in the water. That's Pier 60's number. And if you look at the radar, most of the rain is over on the East Coast. Now, what happens is we normally get a little bit of an easterly wind in the morning, then the sea breeze kicks in and it goes west wind and pushes everything over to the East Coast. Okay? To a certain extent, right? That is kind of what we saw today, except this east wind that we have is changing. It's going away. And so now that the west wind has picked up, it's just not going to stop. It's not a lot of wind, but we're not going to have light easterly winds the first half of tomorrow and then get the sea breeze to push everything inland. That's not going to happen. We're going to have a light breeze here along the coast in the morning, and then it'll just pick up a little bit and push everything inland in the afternoon. And I say that because that means that the chances of any of these storms producing outflow boundaries that would create more storms here is lower than normal. So yes, we have a few showers out there now, and I expect this to start to fall apart now through about 9:30. All this green's not rain, but that is right there in Brandon. And as a matter of fact, this is our second one that we've seen in that area today. But this one should be falling apart here pretty quickly and will be mainly quiet overnight hours. Highlands County, we've seen some rain, especially in the eastern part of the county, but we are drying out now. The forecast model says, okay, let's push all that inland, isolated showers near the coast end, and then tomorrow morning with a west flow, you see those wind arrows there? You see all that out there? We tend to see a little bit of pop-up stuff right at the beach first thing in the morning. You know, we also tend to see water spouts, but the real thin ones, okay? Nothing major, but that is something that we tend to see with the west to southwest wind flow over warm water. So we'll be keeping an eye out for that. If you're up on US 19 in the morning, western Pasco, you're coming down into town and you see some pretty cool tropical clouds out to the east, to west, to the right of you coming southbound. Keep an eye out for some water spouts, all right? Now, this is around 11 o'clock in the morning. I think around lunchtime, we'll start to see some showers and storms pop up. See those? That's around 1:30 to 3:30, okay? And then guess where they go? They go inland. 1 or 2 showers pops up here, just like we saw today, Brandon, talking to you, Thonona-Sassa, right? And then that was 7 o'clock, and then things dry out. Now, because we have a little bit more of a westerly flow Friday night and Saturday, we're going to have a stray shower pop up, blow in off the Gulf overnight, Friday night and the Saturday morning. This is almost 3 in the morning. And then look at the extra clouds. You see all the gray here? That's Saturday morning, 7:30 a.m. There's a cold front coming. In fact, it's kind of right in here. It might be back there a little bit. But some scattered showers in the morning, and then there you go, a better chance for showers and storms around 1 o'clock Saturday. This is what we want, guys. I know it's on the weekend, but the reason why is because this front should get over to the East Coast and stall. And if that can happen, it will help to protect Florida from this. This is our Futurecast model. It's based off the WRF, the WRF. Usually does pretty good, especially short term. And it's picking up on this. This is the Northern Bahamas and Grand Bahama, and then, yeah, it's big. All right? It's getting pretty strong. So it does look like this is at least a good tropical storm at that point. Potential for it turning into a hurricane as it moves by. If we get this front all the way through and stalls along the coast, that'll be part of that upper level system that's going to help protect us and take it off to the north. Okay, let's go take one more break and come back and we'll look at your 7-day forecast. Weather impacts your life every day. I'm 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins. You can find out about any change in the weather with our 10 Tampa Bay Plus app. Just stream for the latest forecast, any weather impact alert, updated tropics forecast, and take a live look at the radar. Anytime you want, and it's free. It's just one more way we're helping you stay informed, prepared, and connected. Stream 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
Jeopardy is for everybody.
That's amazing. Oh, yeah.
With players just like you.
Paramedic, retired teacher, psychiatrist.
I'm a little bit competitive.
That's the spirit.
Watch their victories.
We have a giant killer.
And heartbreaks.
Oh, no.
The next super champion could be anyone.
It's almost like a superhero origin story.
It could be you.
Oh, wow.
It's all happening on Jeopardy.
Jeopardy weeknights at 7:30 right here on 10 Tampa Bay.
I was driving when an 18-wheeler turned in front of me. I locked up my brakes, bam, slid dead into the truck. Bloody and hurt, I was loaded into an ambulance, and that's when I put out my phone and called Attorney Dan Newton. Dan jumped right on it. He was in my corner the whole way. He fought the fight from beginning to end and got me $1 million.
Involved in a car accident? Call me now at 813-888-8000.
Dan, your awesome team deserves 6 stars. Thank you for winning my case.
Before hurricane season hits, it's time to prep your home. Secure outdoor equipment and generators. Clear debris from around your AC unit and schedule a pre-storm HVAC and electrical inspection.
Those are some great tips. And Cool Today is here to help you weather the storm. For over 60 years, we've been here to help Floridians with their cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs. We can help you prepare, protect, and repair your home. Call 888-40 today.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Let's take a look at some forecast numbers here. We'll start with tomorrow morning, mid-70s, kind of muggy out there, but comfortable and mainly dry. Again, remember, each morning through Saturday, at least Friday and Saturday mornings, we'll have a small chance for a quick shower along the coast. Not worth a weather impact alert, nothing like that, because it's just small chance, but I just want to give you a heads up for that. Tomorrow afternoon, warm, muggy, in the low 90s, about 89 to about 92, all right, depending on where you're at. The upper 80s will be closer to the coast, especially with the westerly wind. Coming off of 86-degree water, you're only going to warm up so much, okay? So that's the good news. And then there's your rain chance, about 30 to 40%, especially 1 p.m. through about 3:30 in the Tampa Bay area. And then further west, further east, it moves inland. And your rain chances will be later in the day. Boating forecast. So I did mention those westerly winds. It's kind of west to southwest, 5 to 10. It's not a lot, but it'll stay through Saturday, especially with the front coming through. Okay, maybe a little west-southwest ahead of it, and then west, maybe a little west-northwest behind it, not much. But you can see tomorrow we're only 5 to 10, and we're talking light chop and smooth out there on the bay. Just a few ripples out there on the bay more than anything else. That is really just about it. Now, same thing on Saturday. Saturday will be a little bit breezier, probably at 10 to 15 knots. Okay, and then Sunday, probably going to try and go around to the northeast. We'll see. We'll see what the tropics want to do with that. So boating is best tomorrow, a little bit more wind on Saturday. Sunday's up in the air right now, probably a little northeast. I don't think Sunday's going to be terrible either way, to be honest with you. Now, rain chances, here we go. 40%. You can see the coverage for tomorrow. That 40% is Tampa northward especially, okay? And then on Friday, there we go. That's the extra moisture with the front, all right? And then it's a 50% chance. But then look at Sunday, and you're like trying to forecast that. What this is a northeast wind and a few showers maybe rotating around from Imelda, right? Coming in something like this. It's just too soon to tell. And then by the time we get towards Monday, we have more of a northwest wind likely on the backside of Imelda, which is going to be up here somewhere, okay, or maybe up here, right? And then it brings in those northwesterly winds. And then Tuesday it dries out. One of the things I didn't really mention was, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of dry air over the Carolinas right now. Later in the season, when you get a good cold front out there, they got cool, dry air, and we get a tropical system to come by and pull it down. So you see how the front tries to bring some of the moisture in, okay? It's trying to pull it in underneath, but the system's literally throwing moisture here, and that's what's getting wrapped around. We're not getting, if this is almost too close. If it was out here, it would pull down more drier air. All right, so watch as we go above it. This is as we get into Tuesday. Okay, I'll do that again, Tuesday. And now you see it's cleared out and given us a little bit more dry air. Now, this is not necessarily a bunch of low dew points. Some of it will be. But what this is this cuts off our rain chances quite a bit. Not 100%, but, you know, we started with this. That dark green is the cold front right there, okay? Watch as the chances start to dim as we go through Monday afternoon, Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon. All right, and then let's go